Now Oya spoke to Maui and said to him, Enoch will listen and interpret the dream and tell us how long we giants have to live and rule on earth. Now, this is the book of Enoch. And Enoch went and said, Azael, thou shalt have no peace. A severe sentence has gone forth against thee to put thee in bonds. Now, that takes me to the book of Isaiah, chapter 57, verse 21. There is no peace, says my God, to the wicked. That's when God tells you he's talking about the giants. He's talking about the fallen angels. He's talking about the evil spirits. There's no peace to them because they torment his humanity and his creation, and they corrupted the earth. And thou shall not have toleration nor requests granted to thee. So God's telling them that even if they pray, it's not going to be granted to these fallen angels, to their children, the giants, because of the unrighteousness which thou hast taught, and because of all the works of godlessness and unrighteousness and sin which thou hast shown to men. As in the previous video, I told you the things that they showed to men, right? And what they taught men and women to do. Then I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid, and fear trembling seized them. So remember in the Bible where it tells you even the wicked believe in God and they tremble? So here it's showing you that the wicked trembling at God and trembling at his future punishment to seize them. And they besought me to draw up a petition for them that they might find forgiveness, and to read their petition in the presence of the Lord of heaven. For from henceforth they could not speak with him, nor lift up their eyes to heaven for shame of their sins, for which they had been condemned. Then I wrote out their petition and the prayer in regard to their spirits and their deeds individually, and in regard to their request that they should have forgiveness and length of days. So this is what Enoch did for them. And I went off and sat down at the waters of Dan, in the land of Dan, to the south of the west of Hermon. I read their petition till I fell asleep, and behold, a dream came to me. So remember, the Most High speaks to people in visions. And visions fell down upon me, and I saw visions of chastenment, and a voice came bidding me, I to tell it to the sons of heaven, to the fallen angels. They're called the sons of heaven because that was their original dwellings, and reprimand them. And when I was awakened, it came unto them, and they were all sitting gathered together, weeping, and Abelzejel, which is between Lebanon and Sensezer, with their faces covered. And I recounted before them all the visions which I had seen in sleep. And I began to speak the words of righteousness and impertinent the heavenly watchers. Now, the book of the words of righteousness and the reprimand of the eternal watchers, in accordance with the command of the holy great one in that vision. I saw in my sleep what I will now say with a tongue of flesh and with the breath of my mouth, which the great one has given to men to converse therewith and understand with the heart, as he has created and given to man the power of understanding the word of wisdom. So has he created me also, and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers, the children of men. So remember, God gives man wisdom. He gave him the word. Enoch's telling you that God gave him the word of wisdom, and that he's got reprimanding the watchers. Remember, you shall judge angels. I wrote out your petition. So this is Enoch telling the fallen angel, telling the angels, the fallen angels and the giants. I wrote out your petition in my vision. It appeared thus that your petition will not be granted unto you. So God's not going to forgive them throughout all the days of eternity, and that judgment has been finally passed upon you. Yeah, your petition will not be granted unto you, and from henceforth you shall not ascend into heaven unto all eternity, and in bonds of the earth the decree has gone forth to bind you for all the days of the world, and that previously you shall have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and you shall have no pleasure in them when the deluge happens and God wiped out the giants, but they shall fall before you by the sword, and your petition on their behalf shall not be granted. nor yet on your own, even though you weep and pray, speak all the words contained in the writing which I have written. Now that takes me back to the Bible in the book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. And to remember when it says in the Bible in Revelation, loose the angels that be bound in the rivers Euphrates. Now let's go back to the book of Giants. Maui mounted up into the air as if upon a strong wings, using his hands like eagle's wings. He left behind the inhabited world and passed over the great desert of desolation. Enoch saw him and hailed him. Maui told Enoch of his mission and said to him that he would speak with him. Flying here and there, Enoch came a second time to Maui, and after Enoch had warned Maui about flying too near to the sun, Maui spoke to Enoch and said that the giants and all the monsters of the earth await his word. So that's when they asked about their petition, if the fall of the giants, the wicked angels, had been carried out by the divine providence. For their days of heavenly glory, can you at least assure us that the number of our days spent doing harm will be added to our lives? We wish to know the meaning of the 200 trees that came down from heaven. Enoch, having received Maui's request, tried to intercede with God, but unavailingly. So God didn't answer his prayer requests for him to ask the interpretation and the revelation of the vision for that giant. Accordingly, he presented Maui with a tablet which was full of forbearing about the coming judgment, but which offered some hope for the future via repentance. So there was hope in the future for repentance. The scribe Enoch gave Maui a copy of another tablet, not the one doused in water, that bore his Enoch's own handwriting. The writing on the tablet said, in the name of the great and holy God, this message is sent to Shezmiah and all his companion. Let it be known to you, the giants and the monsters, that you will not escape judgment, and all the things that you have done, and that your wives and their sons and their wives of their sons